Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Thanks for joining me today. Just a really quick video today, making this cute little handbag that you can put your Easter chocolates in. I just thought I'd show you how to make one. Fits two of the little bigger eggs or a whole bunch of little tiny eggs in there, and you could fill it up with a little bit of tissue paper, and cute little bag. I know there's some paper around that probably got more appropriate for Easter if you want to use different designer series paper. I'm using a different one today, so we'll get started. Just a couple of things before we do. If you wish to join my Facebook page, it's called you don't join that one, that's one that you can follow. It's called Cards by Laura. All my projects go in there, and all the cards and things that I make at my workshops. And I also have a Facebook group called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. That's a really big group, and there's lots and lots of information in there of all the videos, and the PDFs are in there, plus some live videos that I do on a Saturday morning. So you're welcome to join that group. Just be aware that there is 2 questions that you need to answer for me to accept you in the group. One is just a simple question of why you'd like to join. I'm interested in why people like to join my group, and also that you agree to the rules. They're really simple rules, just to be courteous to people. It's not a buy and sell group, so don't try and sell your products in there or your cards or anything. If you're watching my YouTube channel today, it's called Creative Gems, and if you wish to subscribe, I'd love you to do so. Just hit the subscribe button. So we shall get started. I'll just turn my alarm off. I knew I had an alarm set to do my video. Well, we're almost at the end of February, so this will make a lovely little Easter basket. And I shall give you the measurements that I've got typed up here, so you can write them down, or they will be in the description box of my video today, as well as the PDF will be in my Tips and Tutorials group under the Files tab in there. So you're welcome to go in there and have a look at how I make it and all the measurements. These are the measurements that I'm using today. I'll just start off. You need, and you could use dies for this. Oh no, actually you can't. You need a punch, but they don't have to be specifically this size. I'm using a 1.5 and a 2.5 inch punch. That's those two. They're both retired from Stampin' Up, but I'm sure a lot of you will still have them in your stash. So they're the punches for the handle, and I have pre-cut some stuff, and also I have scored some of the pieces. So the handles of my cardstock, I've created this 1 length piece, so you can cut it all out of one. It's 11.5 inches, 11.5 inches by 2 3/4 inches. That will fit the 4 handle pieces that you need. When you punch them, you'll punch the small one first, which is this one here. So you'll go in and just punch anywhere there. So you've got plenty of room, as you can see, to go all the way across. And then you'll punch the bigger one after that. It will punch out this smaller piece first. You can always use these for greetings later on something else. So I've punched that piece out first. And then you go back in with your bigger punch, and it will create a little banner type, handle type piece in there. So I've done the 4 of those for you already. That's that piece. If you don't want to use a big long piece, you can do them individual, but this way it gives you something to hang on to when you're punching, so you're not trying to wiggle it around inside the punch. That's that one. The base of my cardstock, and I've used Very Vanilla today, that's this piece here. It measures 4.5 by 3 inches, and I'll give you the scoring for that in a minute. The lower trim, which is vanilla again, it's 9 1/4 by 1/2 inch. That's that little piece there. and my patterned paper or DSP if you're with Stampin' Up. It's 9.5 by 2.5. And then I'm going to use this ribbon. It's the gold satin edged ribbon. It's still current in the current annual catalogue. I'm going to use that one, and we shall get started. You won't need to write the measurements down. I'll put them in the description box of this video today. So, scoring this piece here, which is the base of my box, I'm going to score it on all 4 sides at 3/4 of an inch. So it's fairly easy to do. So we've got 3/4 there on that side, one all the way around at 3/4, and we're just going to create some little tabs on the corners to put it together. And that's 4 sides at 3/4 of an inch. That's the only scoring you pretty much need to do. I'll fold and burnish those pieces. Put our little box back in here. Should be a relatively quick video today, so I won't keep you too long. Now when you're doing your tabs, I stay on one side of the cardstock and go across. So I'm going up that score line there, and I'm just going to, and I'll get a little dish for my scraps, and just notch that on either side. And I'm going to use tear and tape all any sort of boxes or cards that get a lot of movement. I like to use tear and tape. So I've gone from this corner to this corner, turn it round 180 and cut up that tab there, and just notch the sides. It only needs a little bit of a notch because it just helps it fit back in when you fold it up to create the box or the base. It just fits it nicely in there without catching on the edges. So that's that there. Now I'm going to put some tear and tape on these, and I'm going, because there's a few bits to put on, I use the lid of my glue. It's going to straighten the end of that, so we start off with a straight piece. So I'm going across there, following the score line on each tab, and this is the lid of my multi-purpose glue, and I just hold it down on top of the tape and give it a pull. It says, when I use my fingernail, it sort of tends to tear crooked, and I don't freehand tear. I like a little bit of a straight line. So we'll do all 4 tabs around. Nice and quick. This way, if you use the lid of your glue, you haven't got to pick your scissors up and down if you prefer cutting, which I do. If it's only a couple of pieces, I usually use my scissors. But with a few pieces, I use my lid of my liquid glue. Then I'm going to burnish the tape. As you know, tear and tape, it tends to lift easily if you haven't secured it down nicely. And then my pick tool just to pick the pieces up off the back. And that's the box part of the bottom of the box. I'll take them all off because it's only a tiny project. I'm off to Melbourne next month for on stage, which I'm looking forward to, going with a friend. So these you just fold inwards and put your that edge there parallel with your corner, the other corner on the other side, all the way around, nice and even. Don't pull it in too far because you've notched the edges. It sits nicely inside. I'll just have a mouthful of water after this. I can feel my throat growing croaky. So that's the base done. Now, done that. The DSP. I'm going to put a strip of tear and tape. This is not directional paper, so it won't matter which way it goes. My throat's gone again. The full length on the inside pattern, I'm using the outside, the green pattern. And you just run a strip of it down one edge of that. Secure it down with my bone folder. Now I'm going to start in the middle of this so that that join there will be at the back. Take this off. And I'm just running this around parallel with the bottom of it. Doesn't have to be exactly in the middle so long as it's at the back. Just run that around so it's parallel with the bottom of the box. Just pinch the corners as you go, all the way around. Fairly simple card. I want to make sure I get it to the bottom. Give that a little pinch on the sides. And then it will overlap. I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape down this strip as well. I could have done that when I first did it, but it's okay now before we stick it down. So just one piece on the overlap section of that. Bone fold of that. And my pick tool. Take the backing off that piece, and it will overlap about 1/2 inch. I think it overlaps, and that's the back section there. And secure that down like so. So that's the back of your little box. Now the circle one, we need the 1.5 inch one, the smaller one of the two. I won't do it like that because it's too bowy. Oh, I'll put that other piece on in a sec. So I'm just going to eyeball with this sitting like so, about half the punch. And I'm sort of eyeballing how much is here and here. It's not exactly straight, but you can also line it up with the bottom here. You can see from there to there and there to there is about halfway. So we'll punch that little piece out. Then we'll go to the other side. I think, no, I didn't measure it. We're just going to eyeball again. I think it'll be around about the same. And so long as you use about the same part of your punch, that's about halfway up the side of the punch. So that's those two. That's pretty straight. My little strip here, I'm going to put tear and tape around that. Wherever I put it, this one here. I'm going to put it to the top edge this time. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's probably better in the middle, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to secure it. Just gives you a little bit of a trim around the base of the bag. Take the backing off that one and start at the back again. So this will be, I'm going to cover over the join so they're not both lined up, and then just run that all the way around again. You could use a coordinating colour for this if you wish. I've kept it to the vanilla. I was going to use the gold, but the gold foily paper doesn't sit well with doing something like this. So I'll just push that. Now this one only covers just a fraction. You could even trim it back so it's even, but I'm going to overlap it a lot. It's all at the back, so that's okay. So that's the base of the box done. And then we've just got our handles to put on and a bit of ribbon. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with these, there's a right and wrong side. I'm just lining it up with, and I'm going to put a pencil mark. I'm lining that up there, and I don't want glue above, although it will get stuck anyway, but I just want some glue to there for this one. I'll just use my multi-purpose glue for this. Doesn't need a real lot. It'll hold quite securely. Whoops. I'll do this back one. So just put that around like so. Line it up with where you've punched out on the little bag and secure that down. I even thought of embossing these. You could emboss the little handles as well, run it through an embossing folder just to give it a little bit of texture. And then the second one of that will go at the back, so it's either side of the bottom of the bag. So we can put glue all the way around on this one. Could have done it on the other one too, but it would probably end up sticky all over my fingers if I did that. Knowing me, you've got nothing to hold on to. So this one, if you can line it up with the top edge and just secure it so it's all nice and even, like so. Give that a second to dry. And then the two on the other side, we'll just eyeball halfway because it won't matter if there's a bit of extra glue. And that one will go on there. I like the little bit of ribbon that I've put on as well. You can get a coordinating colour of ribbon. I didn't have any. This is what colour is it? Shaded spruce, I think. Yes. So the shaded spruce or pretty peacock. Might be pretty peacock. Actually, I've got the paper here. I'll show you the paper that I've used. Pretty peacock it is. Yes. I'll show you. This is in the current mini catalogue. Very pretty paper. It's called Forever Love. Really nice paper. Most of them are the pretty peacock colour. The backs, there's a bit of pink on the backs, but there's only one sheet, one design of that pink one there. That's Moody Mauve, and then that's very pretty as well. And that's all the patterns in the paper. So the backs are predominantly the pink, petal pink or Moody Mauve. The fronts are mostly the pretty peacock. So that's that side. And the other side. They're really quick to make, and it'd make a nice little gift for an Easter bunny. You could do them as teacher gifts for Easter, or just your workmates, bunch of friends. Even if you're doing markets, they'd make a nice little gift to sell at a market. Just top them up with Easter eggs. So that's it. Just getting that all nice and straight. When I was saying about dies before, you could die cut your handles, but it would be really hard to die cut the shape in here once you put it together, unless you work out exactly where the handles would go. So you've got the join at the back, so you'd have to join it first before you could do that. So I would recommend a punch, but you can have different size handle punches. So that's that. Actually, I've done a bigger one here. That's a smaller one, that one. I like this one better. That's that. And then my little bit of ribbon, I'm just going to tie a bow on one side to pretty it up a little bit. I'll snip that off. Create 2 loops and tie your bow. One end's a little bit longer than the other, so we'll trim that off. And there you go. Excuse me, croaky again. That's my little bag. Hope you like that. You could even emboss these pieces here as well as the handles. Actually, I should have embossed that because it's looks a bit flat. But that's all right. We can emboss next time. That's it from me. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what I do. Give me a like or a thumbs up. And I shall see you all again next week. Have a lovely week. Bye for now.